Welcome to Pebbleton Grove. You're about to hear Chapter 1 of The Pieces of Pebbleton Grove, written by Morgan South. It's a heartfelt, wholesome romance set in a small town with gentle humor and a love story that unfolds slowly. If you'd like more context, the prequel is already available here on the channel. You can begin there or start right here. Now let me introduce you to Juliet. Herbert the Hedgehog was having an existential crisis on a beach, and I was having one in my Brooklyn apartment. His was about friendship. Mine was about this blank page and Friday's deadline breathing down my neck like a debt collector. I drew a circle, erased it, drew it again. Outside my window, June rain streaked the glass, turning the Brooklyn street below into a watercolor blur. My phone rang. I grabbed it without looking. If this is about Herbert, I'm working on it. If this is about literally anything else, I'm also working on that. Is this Juliet Callahan? A man's voice, deep and unfamiliar, every one of his words carefully measured. I glanced at my screen. Unknown number. Oh, good. Maybe I'd won a free cruise. Yes. Who's asking? Grant Montgomery. I'm calling about the estate of Edith Barrington. I waited. Silence stretched. Apparently, elaboration was optional. I'm sorry. I think you have the wrong number. I don't know anyone named Edith Barrington. You're Juliet Callahan, daughter of Catherine Callahan? Yes. Then I have the correct number. Miss Barrington passed away 3 months ago. I'm the executor of her estate, and you are listed as the primary beneficiary, Miss Callahan. Herbert's blank beach stared back at me from the laptop screen. I'm sorry, beneficiary of what? Her estate, Barrington Manor in Pebbleton Grove, Virginia, along with all contents and associated properties. A pause. I waited for him to laugh and tell me this was a prank. He didn't laugh. I'm going to need you to back up, I said slowly. Who is Edith Barrington? Your aunt, your mother's sister. I stopped and put the pen down. My mother doesn't have a sister. I assure you, she did. I took 3 steps to the window, 3 steps back. My apartment didn't allow for dramatic pacing, but I gave it my best effort. Mr. Montgomery, I appreciate the call, but I think there's been a mistake. My mother's an only child. Her parents are both dead. There's no sister. There's definitely no estate. Miss Callahan. His voice was patient. Too patient. He'd clearly done this before. Edith Barrington was your mother's sister. She owned Barrington Manor for 60 years. She left specific instructions that you be contacted upon her death. I have the will right here. I sat back down, stared at Herbert while my brain tried to process the existence of a manor and a sister. How specific? Extremely. She wanted you to have the manor. There's a residency requirement. 6 months. You'd need to live there full time. Live there? Yes. For 6 months. Correct. In a manor? Yes. That I've never seen. Also, yes. I pressed my fingers against my temples. Is this a prank? Did Claire put you up to this? Because if she did, it's not funny. It's weird and elaborate and bordering on harassment. I assure you, this is not a prank. I'm an attorney and a family friend. I handled Miss Barrington's legal affairs for the last 5 years, but I've known her my whole life. She was explicit about her wishes. An attorney. The pieces clicked. The measured pauses, complete lack of humor, and the voice that probably billed by the 6-minute increment. Of course. Mr. Montgomery, can I ask you something? Yes? Why me? If this woman existed, if she was my mother's sister, why would she leave me anything? I've never met her. I didn't know she existed until 2 minutes ago. He didn't answer immediately. He was choosing his words carefully. I think that's a conversation better had in person, he said finally. Miss Barrington left a letter. For you. It might answer some of your questions. A letter. From a dead aunt I'd never met. This was getting more surreal by the second. What if I don't want it? I asked. The manor. What if I said thanks but no thanks? Then the property goes to the Pebbleton Grove Historical Preservation Society, and you forfeit any claim to the estate. So my options are move to Virginia for 6 months or lose a house I didn't know existed. Essentially, yes. I need to think about it, I said. I understand. Take all the time you need. When you've made a decision, call me. He rattled off a number. I grabbed a pen from the mug on my desk and wrote it on my palm. I'm at the manor most days. I can meet you whenever you're ready. You live there? Another pause. It's complicated. We can discuss it when you arrive. If I arrive? If you arrive, he agreed. Miss Callahan, for what it's worth, I think you should come. At least see it before you decide. Why? Because Miss Barrington wanted you to have it, and she wasn't someone who did things without reason. His voice softened a fraction on her name, like he was talking about someone who'd mattered. The line went dead. I stared at Grant Montgomery's number written across my palm. Then I did what any rational person would do. I called my mother. She picked up on the third ring. Hello, Juliet. Is this important? Did you have a sister named Edith? The silence was immediate, heavy. Mom? I don't want to talk about this. A lawyer just called. He said Edith Barrington died and left me her estate. He said she was your sister. I said I don't want to talk about this. But, click. She'd hung up. My mother, who had opinions about everything from my career choices to my lack of a retirement plan, had hung up on me. I stared at my phone. My hand was shaking. She'd lied to me about family, about having a sister. For my entire life she'd lied, which meant it was real. All of it. The secret sister. The decades of silence masquerading as an only child story I'd never thought to question. I had an aunt who died and left me a manor, an aunt my mother refused to discuss. I looked at Herbert on my screen. You and me both, I told him. I opened a new tab, typed, Barrington Manor, Pebbleton Grove, Virginia. The first result was a historical society page. I clicked. The photograph loaded in strips, stone walls emerging first, ivy climbing them like it had been there for centuries, windows, the kind that probably had names like the East Conservatory or the Morning Room, then the turrets, 3 of them, actual fairy tale turrets puncturing the skyline. Oh, the word came out soft. Look at you. I zoomed in on the photograph. The turrets weren't uniform. One was taller, one slightly crooked, one half hidden by ivy. They looked like they'd grown there naturally, like the house had decided it wanted them and simply sprouted them over time. The gardens in the foreground were wild, but intentional. They looked effortless, but probably required someone's devoted attention. The house had a story, and it remembered things. You could feel it. I called Claire. She picked up on the second ring. Please tell me you finished Herbert. I inherited a manor. Silence. Claire? Sorry, I thought you said you inherited a manor. I did. Like, a house? A manor, with turrets. Turrets. Multiple. More silence. I heard her breathing, processing. Juliet, she said finally, very carefully, have you been drinking? Like, drinking? Should I come over? It's 11 in the morning. That wasn't a no. I'm completely sober. A lawyer just called me, Grant Montgomery. He said my mother had a sister who died and left me her estate, Barrington Manor, in Virginia, with turrets and probably ghosts and I don't know, maybe a moat? Your mother doesn't have a sister. That's what I said. So, this is a scam. I thought so too, but I called my mom and she hung up on me. What? I asked if she had a sister named Edith, and she said she didn't want to talk about it and hung up. My mother, who once lectured me for 40 minutes about the importance of thank you cards, she hung up on me. Claire went quiet. Okay, that's actually weird. Right? Did you Google it? I'm looking at it right now. I stared at the photograph on my screen. The stone walls, the ivy, the turrets that shouldn't exist but did. Claire, it's real. It's an actual manor. There's a historical society page. Let me see. I heard clicking. She was typing. Okay, I'm Googling. Barrington Manor, Virginia. Oh my God. I know. Juliet? Yeah. This place is gorgeous. I know. You can't just inherit a manor. Apparently I can. The lawyer said there's a residency requirement. 6 months. I have to live there, or it goes to some historical society. So live there. I laughed. It came out slightly hysterical. Claire, move to Virginia? I can't do that. Why not? Because I have a life. I have clients. I have deadlines. You work from your laptop. Your clients email you. Your deadlines follow you everywhere. More clicking. Oh my God, look at the gardens. Look at the library. It has one of those rolling ladder things. I saw. You have to go. I can't. Why? Because I looked around my apartment, at the desk where I'd worked for 5 years, at the wall covered in sketches, at the life I'd built that fit perfectly in 400 square feet. Because I don't inherit manors. That's not a thing that happens to me. Things that happen to me are missed deadlines and forgetting to pay my phone bill and eating cereal for dinner, not fairy tales. Well, it's happening. So you can either stay here and wonder why your mother lied to you about having a sister, or you can go find out, in a manor, with turrets, and one of those library ladders. When she put it like that. What if it's a scam? I said. What if I get there, and it's not a manor, it's just some guy's shed and he murders me and wears my skin? Did the lawyer sound like he wanted to wear your skin? I thought about Grant Montgomery's voice. Deep, professional, a man who probably scheduled his spontaneity and had strong opinions about font choices. No, I admitted. He sounded like he alphabetized his spices and used a label maker. Then you're probably fine. A pause. Wait. What if he alphabetizes them in a murder basement? Claire, all I'm saying is that's suspiciously organized. You literally color code your bookshelves. For aesthetic purposes, not murder. There's a difference. I found myself smiling despite everything. What if I hate it? Then you leave. 6 months isn't forever. But what if you don't? What if this is amazing? What if you fall in love with some brooding groundskeeper and live happily ever after in your turret? There's no brooding groundskeeper. You don't know that. There could be a whole staff of brooding men, a brooding butler, a brooding chef, a brooding... I'm hanging up now. Go pack, wear something dramatic, scandalize the locals. I don't scandalize. Then learn. You're a manor owner now. She hung up before I could argue. I sat there, phone in my hand, staring at Barrington Manor on my screen. My palm was smudged with ink, Grant Montgomery's number written across it. I opened my contacts, typed it in, stared at the screen and called. He answered on the first ring. Grant Montgomery. Hi, it's Juliet Callahan. I've made a decision. You have? I'm coming. Silence. A pause. When should we expect you? Is next Friday too soon? Friday it is. I'll have the house ready. The Manor. You'll have the Manor ready. That pause again. I could hear him deciding whether to correct me. Yes, he said finally. I'll send you directions. Do you have any questions? About 1,000. About my aunt who I'd never met. About my mother who'd lied. About why any of this was happening. One question, I said. Does it really have turrets? 3 of them. I see. Miss Callahan? Yes? Bring sensible shoes. The driveway is gravel. Was that concern or lawyerly thoroughness? I couldn't tell. He hung up. Outside, the rain had finally stopped. A break in the clouds, letting the light through. My closet stood open across the room. The dress I'd bought for occasions that never seemed to happen. The nice heels that were absolutely not sensible. I'm going to wear those heels, I told my empty apartment. It seemed like the appropriate way to start a new life. Thank you for listening to Chapter 1 of the Pieces of Pebbleton Grove. Pre-orders for the novel are now open on Amazon, and you'll find the link in the description below.